Good day, Mom. I am Cindy B. Abgelina, and I am here to present to you my report about the Theory of Management in Business and Industry, Chapter 3. So, before we proceed, let's discuss first what is the meaning of management. The word management is derived from the Italian word magere, which means to train horses or literally to handle, and from the French words manager, meaning to direct a household or to economize, and menager, an act of guiding or leading. Etymologically, therefore, it means to handle, direct, economically guide, and lead. So, first to tackle is about the attributes of the term management. The word organization may be defined to mean either a group of individuals and factors and their relationships or to the process itself. The term management can also assume varying shades of meaning. Thus, it is common practice to refer to the executives or officials of a company as the management of that company. When we read in the newspapers that the laborers of a firm declared a strike because of the high-handed attitude of management, we think of management as a group which determines policy and conducts executive action. Again, management denotes a field of activity. In this sense, management is the activity or process which coordinates, directs, and controls the activities of all other parts. In a very real sense, management is a distinctive profession of organizing and directing men, although this aspect is too often unappreciated and neglected. In its most comprehensive meaning, management is the organization of materials, machines, equipments, and men with a view to effecting the greatest possible measure of cooperation in the achievement of the desired result. So let's proceed to the relationship between management and organization. In the previous chapter and in the preceding discussion, we mentioned the different and varying definitions of organization and management. However, in actual usage, say, in the operation of business concerns, they are generally interchanged or jointly and inseparable applied. Organization, for instance, is considered as the relationships of the structural elements in business, including the individuals to carry on the work to accomplish the desired purpose, and management as the planning, directing, controlling, and coordinating of those elements. Again, organization refers to the structure or form of an enterprise and the arrangement of all parts thereof in a manner suitable for use in service, while management includes all those in charge of the direction of the work of others, those who will see to it that the parts are so arranged and structured are used in service to best advantage. The structural factors, better remembered as the 5 M's, are men, materials, machine, methods, and money. So, next is who is management? Traditionally, management means one individual or a small group of key people who make the significant decision and keep the policy making power and function as an absolute power over the organization. In a sole proprietorship, it would be the owner, and in a big company, it would be the directors or the key executives. What is good in management? A management is considered when competent men are placed as heads of the departments, when these men are responsible for and we are in control of all activities, and when they work as a team under the leadership of a strong executive. A management is also good when changes in business activities could be effected on short notice. For example, there were many companies in the United States during the Second World War, which on short notice had to liquidate their normal businesses and convert to the production of new war products and quit frequently on a scale many times greater than the former production. The above-mentioned effective changes were the result of intelligent planning, capable performance, and fine teamwork. In other words, good management. Next is, when is management considered successful? Management is said to be successful when it makes industry efficient, and this efficiency is measured concretely in terms of quality and quantity of products with the minimum efforts at the least possible cost. Functions of management. The functions of management are said to be the viewing together of the various parts so that all factors will function properly and all persons will cooperate for the common purpose. Specifically, management has the following functions. First is the planning. Second is coordinating. Third is directing. And the fourth is controlling. Let's tackle first the planning. Planning is a methodic technique of looking ahead in order to meet work requirements and to reduce the amount of mental efforts required while the work is being done. Planning emphasizes prevention rather than correction of delays, to anticipate, to do something about the delays rather than to wait for the delay to take place before applying remedies. The essence of planning is to remember the value of time, the virtue of patience, and the joy of originating. Second is coordinating. Coordinating implies the smooth working together of the different composing elements. It aims towards a perfect meshing of or a harmonious adjustment among the elements employed. Coordination means concurrence in purpose and performance to secure harmony in action towards a common end. The third one is directing. Directing means the pointing of all efforts towards the known objective. Management directs the basic elements so that they have a bearing straight upon the objective and the lines of action along which the enterprise is to move or set up. Direction gives guidance and points out the course to be followed. Fourth one is the control. Control requires a knowledge of what is being done, what should be done, and what to do in order to rectify unsatisfactory conditions. When necessary, it includes the power to compel corrective action to be taken. Control keeps the activities of an enterprise within their proper channels. Control includes the restraining, checking, and motivating influences exercised by the management. System of fundamental operating in business. In business, planned methods or procedures are called system. When organizational procedures are standardized, we have a system. System is one of the most valuable mechanisms or aids of management. Experience has proved that in any line of performance, if a thing is to be done efficiently, it must be done systematically. System, if properly utilized materially, aids in securing the desired results in the best possible way with the latest expenditure of time and effort. Advantages of proper use of system. System, when properly applied, has the following advantages. First is system is the introduction of order and method wherever it is applied. Such an advantage is apparent in any office considering the chaos that would reign if there were no system of filling correspondence, records, and other data, and instead everything were allowed to lie around in any place or one is put over the other as it comes. When, for instance, a certain correspondence has to be referred to, it would take a long time to locate it, thus resulting unnecessary loss of time and efforts. Second is everyday work becomes routine through a system. Routine work for flows along regular channels and can be handled by less experienced workers. As the planning required for its performance has been done for them, of course, there is the danger of routine become institutionalized and for constructive change to be effected only after extreme effort. Nevertheless, system properly used as disadvantage. The third one is system permits those in authority to devote their time and effort to more important work such as planning, attending to major problems, searching for new marketers and products and the like. Comparatively speaking, about 90% of the work in the average business concern may be classified as a routine and one's plan can be safely done by subordinates through an effective system. The fourth one is system aids in control and reduction cost. A system based upon a certain purpose and comprehensive plan of action removes doubt and promotes certainty. Thus, true cost can be known and controlled. A system promotes smooth running, therefore many unnecessary costs can be eliminated. Next is rules for applying system. In considering the advantages gained by the use of system, one must be careful not to consider system as a total cure for all industrial ills. Many managers in the past have become too interested in system that they lost sight of the objective to be gained by the use of system. The result was the development and use of the complicated system so full of red tape which more than defeats the very objective of instituting it. The following are the few simple rules that may be used for guidance, always having in mind that is a mechanism or an aid of management, a means toward an end but not the end on itself. First is system used in a particular concern should reflect a basic general plan. If department heads are allowed to devise their own system, irrespective of the needs of other departments of the concern as a whole, such will inevitably result to duplication of effort, waste, and internal friction. Second is, a system must represent a definite and useful purpose. In other words, any system that has outgrown its unusefulness should be discarded. There should be conscious recognition that system can be changed if the need of improvement arises. Third one is maintaining a system must prove worth its cost. Frequently, a system may help materially in producing the desired result, but at such a cost that it becomes a cure worse than the disease. This is a case when the company's is system perfect but it becomes bankrupt due to the cost of maintaining its system. The fourth one is a system should be clear and simple, easily understood and adequate to fit the needs but involving the least expenditure of the time and effort. The fifth one is there should be the frequent periodic checking. These periodic examinations of a system will enable management to find out whether the system is still accomplishing the desired usefulness and whether the rules have been carried out at, as is expected. So let's tackle about basic principle of management. There has been developed in the field of management a body of principles to be applied in the conduct of business. These fundamental principles have been developed through years of practical experience. They can be applied in the conduct of any business, large or small, partnership or corporation, industrial or commercial, for they are based upon the understanding or truth that in their fundamental objectives and operations, all businesses are alike. It is application of the principles that is varied to suit the needs of the individual business. The following principles formulated some years ago are considered fundamental to the successful conduct of any business enterprise. First is the principle of policy making. Definite, clear out policies are essential to effective management. Company policies should be formulated at the inception of the business enterprise. Policies designate the aims of the business. They are general plans of actions for the conduct of operations. They are the standards set for the guidance of management. Policies define the true interests of the company, the ideals to be achieved, and outline broadly the methods to be used in their accomplishment. As generally as a general company policy, a large tire manufacturing concern plans to produce the finest grade of tire to sell at a given price. To implement this company policy, the best utilization of plant capacity and sales effort is considered. Whatever is decided as the best thing to do is submitted to the president or the general manager of the for the decision. Once the company policy is formulated, the major policies will follow. Thus, a major policy may be formulated to reduce cost by eliminating excess variety, by standardizing upon certain popular sizes and types of tires, and by selling the tires direct to automobile manufacturers, large retailers, mail orders, houses, and filling stations. Next is the principle of improvement and adjustment. To be successful, a business must advance. It cannot dormant. The management of a company is responsible for the continual development of the business. In any industrial concern, management must be always on the alert to improve the product or service and to keep abreast with the progress of the industrial industry as a whole. Otherwise, the business itself and its profits sooner or later will be in the hands of the more progress competitors. A company which brings out a new successful product has a distinct advantage over its competitors. The company which continually improves its methods and systems and management labor relationship progresses well. The company which is contented with things as they are slips backward. Third one is the principle of balance. To secure proper development of business and efficiency in operation, a company must be internally well balanced. If one function in a business is given attention more than the other functions, the business shall get out of balance. It is the duty to the chief executive to keep the company as a whole in balance. On the other hand, it is the duty of each department head to keep the various units in his department in balance. The fourth one is the principle of relationship of task and accomplishment. A person works best and accomplishes most when he is given a definite job to be completed in a given time, the work being of a nature for which he is mentally and physically suited. The broad application of this principle is demonstrated in selective employment, by means of which management endeavors to find the persons best fitted for the work, who can be chosen through the use of job specification, taking into the consideration the training and experience of each applicant. Management should see to it that the skills and abilities of the workers are fully utilized. If full productivity of workers is not obtained, the company loses. The fifth one is the principle of individual effectiveness. Individual effectiveness is increased through training and improved working condition. Selection of employees is initially the important factors to consider, but no matter how well selected an employee is, his performance is still capable of improvement. The application of this principle has led to training programs, classes in executive and supervisory development, and training on the job for workers. Learning correct methods and sequences of work enables the worker to do the work accurately, quickly, and economically because incorrect and useless movements have been eliminated. The sixth one is the principle of simplicity. All elements which are not essential to successful operation should be eliminated, and all those retained should be applied in the simplest way. The application of this principle tends to eliminate red tape. System and methods are scrutinized to determine their necessity. The simplest system or the simplest method which all accomplish the desired result is the best way of the work. The seventh one is the principle of specialization. Specialization refers to the narrowing of the field of activity. Specialization is applied in the field of management. The sales manager becomes an expert in sales. The areas where management is applied are narrowed, and specific management techniques and procedures are evolved for that narrow sphere of activity. The principle of specialization rests upon the underlying truth that few men can do many things and do them well, but most men can do few things well if if the scope of their activities is small enough. The eighth one is the principle of standardization. A standardization is a norm, a rule, model size, type, quality, or measure which is set up or established such that future things or activities will be expected to conform to it. The setting up of standards is essential to sound management. In business, there can be develop an infinite variety of standards such as standards of method, process, task, operation, time, material, design, and etc. There are two types of standard. Standardization means this has to do with the selection of items, types, and sizes of products in the greatest demand. Second one is administration standard, which means this has to do with standards or performance which give management definite measures by which gauge efficiency to evaluate and control. The ninth one is the principle of financial incentive. A wage system to be effective should be provide fair standards of accomplishment such that the individuals are remunerated on the basis of their accomplishment in the relation to the standards set for the task or class of work. In a certain classes of work, however, it is not possible to set a standard as in the case of research work. In case where the standards are really impracticable, those in charge could base their decision as to the incentive to be given on their past experiences. The incentive should be such that it will stimulate the worker to put forth his best effort. The third one is the principle of relations. Management and labor are after the same objectives. Both desire the business to prosper, for their security depends upon that prosperity. Both want fair treatment. Management in its dealings with labor, labor in its dealings with the management, both desire the respect for their fellow men. Both want to recognize for what they do and what they are. The handling of problems involving the human factor requires patience and understanding. Whatever differences of opinion arises, as they do in all human relationships, they should be adjusted promptly in accordance with the sound and social business principles. 11th one is the principle of planning. Planning substitutes knowledge for guesswork. It reduces the elements of chance. It anticipates difficulties and in any instances prevents their happening. Planning involves a decision as to what should be done, how it should be done, where it should be done, and when it should be done. By planning, the arrangement and sequence of work or tasks are accomplished in shorter time and with less effort. The quantity of work is greater and the quality is better. The 12th one is the principle of control. A definite system of control is instituted whereby work is first issued and orders given, and then through observation, inspection, and the use of records, those in charge can more ascertain that the plans are being carried out. The 13th one is the principle of cooperation. We must say that one results in a total greater than two because of cooperation. The principle of cooperation is self-explanatory. Cooperation is nothing more than teamwork. The effects of teamwork are evident to all. Cooperation in business enterprise implies the full utilization or the experience and intelligence of all concerned. The 14th one is the principle of leadership. This principle holds equally true a company as a whole and a department or a gang of workers. Good leadership implies the ability to do what one sets out to do, the spirits to carry on until the task set is accomplished, the personality and the ability to win the cooperation and loyalty, the skill to direct and controls the efforts of others. The 15th one is the principle of delegation of authority and responsibility. Delegation means giving power to do certain things to subordinates and pointing out how that power is to be used. The proper appreciation of this principle is important because management is involved with superior subordinates relationships, and these relationships can become clear only when delegation of authority is understood and well applied. Delegation of authority gives rise to another principle that is equally important. This is the principle of quality of authority and responsibility, which means it simply means that If a subordinate is given the responsibility of making and implementing certain decisions, then he should be given an equal amount of authority to push those decisions through. The 17th one is the utilization. Executive talent is relieved when standards of performance are set up and definite plans are made up. The executive directs his attention not only to variations which are materially good or bad, to further planning and to policy making, coordination, and important tasks. This principle has further application to executive of large concerns with complex problems or directions and coordinations. The rule of leadership. Leadership is a galvanizing factor that the dynamic element which integrates the various interests in the organization into a harmonious, inspired, and smoothly functioning unity. Organizations, principles, and management techniques are of mind, methods, systems, timetables, and standards. The executive or manager, whether at the top or at slightly lower levels, should have certain attributes of a leader. In addition to the technical competence required by the nature of his position, thus the executive should have physical and mental health, such as vitality, strength, and endurance are required of executives. Second is the intellect. Clear thinking and intelligence is either creative or judicial. The leader has a creative mind which can easily envision concepts or new plans. The third one is personality. The executive should have maturity, social orientation, personal magnetism that commands consent, cooperation, enthusiasm, the ability to inspire persuasiveness and tact. The fourth one is character. The good executive as a leader has integrity and other excellent character traits. The fifth one or the last one is the language facility. The leader should not only know but he should also have the ability to teach and communicate what he knows. This characteristic of leadership blend the principles of organization and management into a functioning whole. And that could be all, ma'am. Thank you.